We are about to do a mani that I never thought I would be doing again. We're gonna make press-on nails. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. We're gonna do these press-ons with the absolute bare minimum amount of product. I know everybody likes to save some money, so let's do the top 5 items that you absolutely must have when you're DIYing your press-ons. The number one thing that you need is the press-ons. For the mani that I chose, I decided to use my Bubble Co press-ons. I keep seeing these stinking press-ons everywhere, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it again. I'm going to see if I can do it, see if I can do it on my own, making sure that I use tips that actually fit me, that actually go with the curve of my nail. And you can see that my nails are super short right now. I have to be honest, I'm going to go into this in a whole other video of like what happened. I basically did my nails so much that they just really needed a break for the first time in 3 years. And putting on new full cover tips. And I was e-filing the bejesus out of them, the crap out of them, whatever you want to say. And I just went above and beyond. I decided to cut all my nails really short and let's do some press on nails for a while. I did a video on this about finding ones that fit your nails, and I'll make sure I link that in the description too. So this might take you a couple of tries to find ones that don't have a huge gap. I'm using Bubble Co's full cover nails because these fit my nails really nicely and they lay flush. You don't want press on nails that are going to have a huge gap in between your natural nails and the actual full cover tip, because then they won't adhere as well, because dip base is not like gel. Dip base is not going to, or nail glue, they're not going to give you that thickness that gel would give you when you're adhering full cover tips. Most of the full cover tips you'll use, you'll also need to buff and file the sides and then file down the back so it lays flush against your cuticle. But the nice thing about these bubble ones is that's already done for you. The back by the cuticle is much more flush, so it's a step that I got to skip. The next thing you're going to need is these little nail stands with some kind of sticker that goes on top of it that then adheres to the full cover tip. And they usually come in a pack. The ones that I'm using came with, I don't even remember what they came with, and I lost the actual stand that they're supposed to be on that came with it, but luckily I still had the box that they came in, and the box is magnetic. So I thought, oh my gosh, I can just use this box and stick them on the box. So I'm using the magnetic nails. So number 2, what you need is you absolutely need some kind of little nail stands. Now, I don't have this as one of the numbers, but this is like a bonus and I'm going to give you right now. If you are somebody who is doing full covers and you're going to be doing them a lot, or even every once a week, once every 2 weeks, get yourself some gloves. You do not want to risk an overexposure allergy. So what that is, if you're touching nail products too much, you are going to get skin irritations, possibly contact dermatitis, and you're going to potentially give yourself an allergy for overexposing yourself to nail products. I've been following this woman, Amber the Nail Whisperer, on TikTok. She is a nail tech and an educator and started this program called the Healthy Nail Collaborative. She is really trying to educate people on how to do your nails properly and make sure that you're doing it safely. After 14 years of being a nail tech, she developed an allergy. So I forget how many pairs of gloves that she has to wear when she does nails, because she does it for a profession. I have seen so many people make them and not use gloves. And please, please, please do not do that. You do not want to develop any contact dermatitis or basically any kind of overexposure allergy that you pretty much are giving yourself for touching too much product. Look at these gloves, and I wanted to wear black gloves for this video so you can see how much product actually gets on your skin. If I didn't have these gloves on, how much would be on my skin? You can see the gold is all over my gloves. It would be all over your skin, potentially giving you some kind of contact dermatitis. So if you are doing your nails a lot, and doing press-ons, wear gloves. I know for me personally, once I start doing my regular nails again, I'm going to be a lot more careful about getting product onto my skin, because I was changing my nails like every other day. That's just not healthy for them to be changing that so much that I started to get itchy skin, even though I wasn't using. I thought, oh my gosh, like, is this a gel allergy? But then I did more research and realized, like, I need to chill. I cannot be doing my nails every couple days. It is just not good for them. So I'm stopping for now and just doing press-ons. That's why you guys are going to see me do a bunch of press-on videos. You know what? We'll have some fun with these press-ons, even though I will admit, at first when I saw the press-ons, I didn't like them, but I'm coming slowly around to the idea of doing them for a little while until I give my nails a break. Just, because by the time I put them on my hands, I'm really not touching anything onto my skin. So the third thing that you absolutely need, the third and the fourth items, you need dip liquids and dip powders. Now, you can do these with gels too, but for anybody who doesn't want to use the light, doesn't want the extra exposure, who doesn't want to buy anything else, a lamp and gels, you can use dip liquids just fine for these, which is why it's so important for you to use nail tips that actually fit your nails, because I'm going to use the dip base as my adhesive, as my glue, and it's not thick. It's really thin. So you need nails that lay really flush. So numbers 3 and 4 are your dip powders and your dip liquids. Those are absolute must-haves when you're doing your press-on nails. I mean, look at how gorgeous these are coming out. I was super, super excited. Shimmer is I'm a freaking warrior queen. The foil is an Oopsie, and they're both from OG Dip Powder. Now, one thing I'm going to say, I have seen people saying that they are using non-nail glues, such as Gorilla Glue, to adhere their full cover tips. Do not do this. Do your research, okay? On the back of Gorilla Glue, it literally says how dangerous it is for you to get on your skin. So I was concerned when I saw people saying they were using it. So I asked this Amber, the nail whisperer, who, is a nail tech, an educator, and she warned me about the dangers of using that and absolutely would never recommend using it. So, when you're watching all of us DIYers, make sure you do your research. Make sure you educate yourself. I put Amber the Nail Whisperer's TikTok handle in my description box down below to give you guys another resource for really great education about nail products. I know I digress some from doing this, Manny, but I really wanted to give everybody this information and make sure that you're making smart That's just my advice to all of you. Now, the fifth thing that you absolutely need is a really good buffing block. This is going to be key to getting that really beautiful natural look, even though you're wearing press-ons. I realized after I did my press-ons that the sidewalls looked really thick, so I buffed the heck out of the sidewalls, and they ended up really doing a nice slope down at the towards the cuticle area. And yeah, the file is a really important too. So I kind of consider like the file and buffing block kind of both the same for number 5. You must have a nice nail file, but most importantly, a really strong buffing block, because I was using a 180 grit. The steps for when you're dipping using these full cover nail tips as press-ons are the same as when you're dipping your own nails. You still apply dip base, pour the powder over, you can gently press it down, especially if you're wearing gloves, and then you still want to activate before you file, buff, and shape. And the one thing that was really nice about these bubble coat tips that I use is they're already pre-etched on the top and bottom, so I didn't have to worry about doing any more filing of the top to really make sure that the product had somewhere to stick. If you're using full cover tips that are really shiny and they aren't pre-etched, you're going to need to file the top of them to make sure that your dip or your gel has something to adhere to. I wiped them all off with isopropyl alcohol. I'm using OG's new liquids. You apply the activator really, really heavy on all 5 nails. Then you go back in with the first layer of top coat after you've waited 10 seconds. So I'll get to my pinky right here. And when I get to my pinky, I count to 10. I have this video sped up, so it's not going to look like I'm waiting 10 seconds, but I count to 10 after I do my pinky with the activator. Then go in with your first layer of top coating in thin, even strokes. Thin is really the key. You do the first layer on 5 nails, and you want to make sure you do them in thin strokes, no more than 2 to 3, at the most 4. And then the second layer, you'll go back in on those same 5 nails in the same order and do another 2 to 3, maybe 4 strokes of thin top coat. And when you're doing this second layer, you can go a little bit slower than you do on the first, but I realized the key to these, there are a couple things. The key to the OG liquids are really apply the activator heavily, then keeping your layers of top coat really thin. Now you can see here I have my naked nails out. I have my natural nails, which our natural nails are still beautiful and pretty. So if you just want to rock your natural nails, absolutely go for it. I already prepped my cuticles very, very little. All I did was barely even push them back because I'm really just trying to leave them alone for a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months. I haven't decided yet. And then I wiped off all the nails with isopropyl alcohol as well because they were all dry. I'm using peel base. I wasn't sure how I would like these nails, how they would look on me. Even though I've worn these nails before, I just wanted to do peel base just in case I wasn't a fan of the coffin shape because I always go for almond, but I was too lazy to file all the nails into an almond shape. So one thing that I missed on this hand, and I totally didn't realize it till I went to do my right hand, I applied peel base first to all 5 nails, then I applied a layer of dip base on my natural nail. What I totally forgot on my left hand, I forgot the little bit of dip base that should be on the actual full cover nail as well before you go to apply it to your natural nail. I have one nail on that I never pulled off yet, or that never popped off yet, and it's been going strong for 4 days even with peel base. So this dip base that I'm using, if you wanted these press on nails to last for a couple weeks, they absolutely, I'm sure, could last at least a week for you. Now, one thing you also want to do is you want to make sure that you press down on your nail for at least 30 seconds to a minute to really make sure that dip base is totally dry. If you've watched all this and you don't think that doing press-ons are for you and you just want to dip your natural nails, I got you. Come check out this next video where I show how to dip on natural short nails. Thanks so much for joining me today, nail crew.